Hey there guys, how's it going? I've been building a stable and profitable crypto trading bot network for quite a few months now, and a few weeks ago I decided to put together a video just reviewing my bot network and how I got it started and my weekly results. And I've kept this going and done a weekly review video each week thereafter. And in doing so, I've received a lot of questions about how it works and kind of the basic architecture and actually walking through some of the code. So I decided to actually put that together and do a kind of a multi-part series code walkthrough where I actually go over everything in the theory and the architecture behind how this network works, because it's quite different from everything that I've seen out there, and then actually walking through the code in the individual scripts. So I didn't realize this at first, but it's actually a bit more complicated than I thought. I guess once you're kind of building it, you don't really look back. You're only kind of working on one piece at a time. But so anyway, this is going to be quite a long series. So I actually would really like if people would like and subscribe and comment if you have any questions or thoughts or anything really, just to give me some idea. People are actually out there and interested, because this actually turns out to be quite a lot of work. This is like my third day working on this, and when I first jumped into this, I thought I was just gonna look at my code, put it on the screen, and talk about it. But it was really hard to follow, and now I've realized it's going to take quite a lot of work, and got to really break everything down. So anyway, yeah, please like, subscribe, and comment if you are interested in this and you want me to continue doing this series. So let's go ahead and look at just like what it is that we're building, like a basic overview of what we're going to have when we're done and how things work. So here I have just like this weekly review video I did from last week, and this is just going to show what I call a DCA bot, a dollar cost averaging bot, in action. So once we hit certain buy-in parameters, the network deploys a bot. In this case, it's a DCA, a dollar cost averaging bot, and this is kind of what it looks like, and this is roughly how it works. So here on the screen, we're looking at Binance US. That's the exchange that I use. And of course, we're using the Binance US API to interact with it. But so here is Binance US, and we're looking at Matic USD. So here is an order that's just been started. You'll see this little red bar and line at the top. That's our current sell order. So we've already bought we already entered our first trade here, bought our first piece of this Matic deal, and we're looking to sell it at this red line. All these green lines you see below here are additional buy orders, so that if the price falls, we'll buy it at this lower price here, and then we'll recalculate our average based off of what we bought previously and what we just bought. Then we'll cancel our sell order, and we'll replace it with a new sell order that's a bit lower. And so that's why it's called dollar cost averaging, because as the price of Matic USD falls, we buy more. We're buying at a lower price, and we're buying additional quantity, and that'll bring our average cost down so that we can sell it at a lower price as well. And I really like this just because even if you have pretty good entry parameters, you really never know what's going to happen. So this kind of just gives you like a broader target for buying and selling that makes it a lot easier to make sure that you're constantly getting deals. So we'll just fast forward a little bit. So you can see, you can see over here I'm this 7.5%. So I'm just measuring like how low I think that this can go, because I've set these parameters to be a maximum of 8% drop. So we'll buy it at all the way down to an 8% drop. So I'm just trying to make sure that the current support and resistance aren't really outside of that 8% range. If we go forward here a little bit, you'll see that here are my buy and sell order parameters, and this might not mean much to you now, but that's what we'll get to. I'm just kind of trying to show a general overview right now. So these are all the various numbers we'll set, and this is just kind of behind the scenes of how it all works. So we'll eventually get here, but this part is a little bit down the road, because first we actually have to build everything that actually looks at the market and decides when to make a purchase. So let me go back to some architecture documents, and we'll just really briefly talk about that, and then we'll get into the code. So there are 7, seven major pieces here. There is the server and Cronjobs by extension. But so there's, server where all of your scripts and everything live. Something has to actually make use of them, and then we'll use the Cronjobs to execute our programs or processes at regular intervals. And that's important because we're going to be using a script that checks market conditions frequently. So we use a cron job to start that observation, the market observation, and then based off of what's happening in the market, spin up different processes and do different things. So next we get to what we were just talking about, the run bot network script, which actually does the market analysis and will deploy the bots if it sees fit. So some of the parameters I use and we might use in this series are the cron job might run every 5 minutes. So every 5 minutes it's checking the market data. It gets technical analysis to make its decisions. It gets all my deal data to understand what deals are active and what deals are not. And it also gets the coin data as well from Binance US, just to understand where the individual coins are currently trading. And based off alert parameters, we can send different market alerts. Basically, it says like buy or sell, or like this is getting close or far away from a buying target. And then we'll actually start a new bot process. So next is the actual bot. So this is all made to be interchangeable. So you'll see that when we actually decide to place a deal, we're actually starting a new sub-process, and we choose what type of bot we want to use. So I use different bots, and based off of the market conditions and what I want to do, we will call a different bot, and we'll start a new process, put in other parameters that the bot needs, and it'll just run indefinitely until it's taken care of everything it needs to. We'll see it later, but once it's deployed, it'll run every 5 seconds to get market conditions and monitor the coin and any deals that it's overseeing. And we'll get to everything that's in the blue today, because this is a lot. But the other pieces include a database and a JSON script for monitoring the active deals and storing all the information of all of our deals. Then we have some helper and supporting files for setting parameters and just moving data around in and out of the database. Then there's all kinds of external data, so dealing with data from Binance US API, as well as getting technical analysis information and any other APIs we might want to use. And then I actually have a web server as well that I set up, and if we get to that, it'll be down the line, so let me know if you guys really want to get all the way to this. But basically this sits kind of on top or beside the rest of the network. And it's just a public website that actually allows me to see everything that the bot network is actually doing. So that's coded in Django, and it's on an Apache web server. But all of this will run without having to build any type of front end at all. So again, just to look over the resources, I'm using Binance US API and an API for technical analysis that I'll show you called Technical Analysis API. I host a Linux server, but we can just build this on our local machine and host it there. But if you do want to have a real bot network making you money, you do need it to run 24/7 and have basically no downtime at all. So I would suggest having some type of external server. I use a VPS that I rent for like $4 a month. So super cheap, super easy. Everything will be coded in Python. We will use some JSON for sending data back and forth. We'll eventually get to building a Postgres database. The front end is Django, which is Python, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and a little bit more, and then an Apache web server. But again, today we'll just get to starting the processes and looking over the run bot network, because I really think that's the most novel piece of it all. This one kind of overarching process that oversees all the other processes and actually makes decisions and says, all right, well, let's create a new bot for this deal, a new bot for this deal, and gives it the parameters it needs. Just checking to see if there's anything else. Nope, that's it. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, first let's go ahead and look at what it is that we're going to be building. So I've got some of the finished walkthrough scripts up here. So let's just take a quick look at them, and then we'll actually just go back to a blank script and we'll start building from scratch. But okay, so first we got a couple of our imports. I always break up imports into the ones that I actually make and then the ones that are actually external. So anyway, we will have a command or com file that will have a lot of our kind of meta parameters, I guess you'd say. And that's just to make switching out some of the parameters easier. That'll become more necessary and more helpful the bigger the system gets. It's not really necessary at the beginning, but I do want to show that that is an important piece and will become increasingly important as the system grows. Then we have a config file, which you'll just put like your API keys and stuff in that and keep it secret. And then just requests, sub-processes, and time, just kind of normal stuff that you use for a lot of different Python scripts. And then we'll have a client connecting to the Binance US API. So first, we'll pull in our coin and deal parameters. These just set like how many deals we can have. Like right now, I only want 3 deals. For what's running live, I have up to 3 deals or up to 3 bots that can run $330 each. So it's a max of $1,000. But so anyway, we can change the max amount of deals or bots here. And then I have coins that I want to look at and I care about and want to alert. And then I have coins that I actually want to trade and buy. So those are 2 distinguished lists there. And again, they're just defined here to make things easier for changing things out all in one place. And these are the ones I normally use, but I've shortened things here just for our little demo and explanation. We have different market condition parameters, and we'll be using just RSI thresholds right now for this demo. And that's actually what I've been using the last 2 or 3 weeks. And normally I'll switch things out a lot to fit the market conditions. But the RSI 1 hour, 1 day, 1 hour, and 15-minute thresholds, just adjusting those a little bit, have been really good. That's what I've used for the last 3 weeks, I think, and had really good returns. So anyway, simple stuff can really work. These are sell thresholds. We won't actually need those, but I included these because I like to alert for RSI sell thresholds just so that I know when the market's overheating. It sends me an alert to my email. Here's a little bit of what we need for doing our technical analysis. So we're just defining what type of indicator we want, what intervals, and we'll need to look at different coin pairs of comparisons with like fiats or stable coins. So I just have a little fiat list. And we'll look at the TA indicator and go over that, the TA API. And show you how to get signed up and the API key and your secret and stuff like that. But so that's our access or endpoint there. And then here we also have the connection to our Binance US API client. A little bit of helper function here just to modify the list. Again, if we need to include the fiats or not. Sometimes we need to just have the coin's name. Sometimes we need to have the coin pair's name with USD. Sometimes we need it with USDT, which is like really annoying. Depends on what API you're dealing with and what type of call you're doing, how you're saving it and stuff. It's super annoying, but we'll have to modify those a lot. And then here comes to the major function here. Run the bot network. So here's a brief little overview. So the first thing we're going to do is get all coin pair tickers from Binance US right here. Very straightforward, connecting to our client. Check all coin pair tickers for each coin pair we care about. And that's what I'm doing here. But basically this is just comparing our list of coins that we care about to all the lists of all the coins available. And there's a faster way to do that. I'm not sure why I did it from the biggest list to the smallest list. But I feel like there was a reason I did that. So anyway, The next piece is perform technical analysis on the coin pair. So once we've decided that we're looking at the proper coin pair that we want to, one we own, and we have the data for it, then we will perform technical analysis on it. That's what we're doing here. And we're actually sending a request to technical analysis API.io, and we're getting the technical analysis back. I was originally doing this on my own, but every time I wanted to do a different indicator, and like put together different like checks and layers for different indicators and like build up kind of like a more sophisticated alert or buying or selling system, I had to like start from scratch, and it was really, really annoying. So I started paying for TA API. It's like $6 a month or something like that, and you get quite a lot of calls, and it just makes it really easy. So basically I can just go in, and again in my command document here, my script here, I can just switch like which parameters I care about for entering trades, and it just makes it so quick and easy. So anyway, that's what I've chosen to use, and we'll look at that briefly. It's insanely easy. I always want to focus on, what am I doing that's special and different, and like that's the hard part. Those are the problems I want to solve. Anything that's like mundane and has already been done, I don't want to do that and spend all my time on it. So I just look for the easiest solution for that possible, and then just work on, what's special and specific to my project. We'll need to sleep every so often. That becomes like a really important part in this, because like if you make too many API calls, then your connection will get disrupted. If your connection gets disrupted, it's really hard to reestablish. Understanding where you are in the deal, the bots get like all messed up and confused. It's pretty terrible. So anyway, we'll define different sleeping parameters. And then here we just have this like really simple, if the RSI is under all these values that we want. So if the 1 day is under this, if the 1 hour is under this, if 15 minutes under this, then we'll send an alert, and that's actually where we'll open the deal. So this is where we get to like, I think it's a simple part, but maybe one of the more novel and better pieces of my network here. So this is basically where we're starting a new process. So this run bot network is in charge of observing the market and starting new processes. So here we'll put together, what do we want to, how do we want to construct the command to start the new process? And then here we'll start a new process. We'll open a pipe and give it the command to say start a DCA bot, buy ADA USD, and keep monitoring the deal. This we won't get to this, but this is a portion of sending information to a JSON script and sending information to a database to more closely and more better monitor the deals and make sure you're not duplicating deals and making sure you're not opening too many deals or have too many bots running. And then this is just a sell parameter alert. And here we just call the main function to run. So this is what we're going to build. This is the major piece. And again, we went over this document. This is like the command center piece. And this is actually the bot that we will be calling. This simple fake DCA bot. My normal one's called DCA, but I didn't want to confuse it and actually place orders. So this is a super simple script that's just going to connect to Binance. It's going to start getting information from the ticker and make decisions based off of the information it gets back from the ticker. But it's not actually going to place an order. And I use a modified version of this all the time just for testing. So anyway, this is a really useful, really simple script, and it'll be the bot that we're calling, although it won't actually place any orders. And here's just an example of what a config file looks like. These are not my actual API keys. These are just random characters. But this is basically this is what your API key information in your config file will look like. So these are for Binance, and this is for TA API. All right, so let's go ahead and run this so you can see what happens. Okay, so Python demo run bot network. Okay, so it's getting Bitcoin's RSI and ETH's RSI, and it's doing them concurrently, and then it's starting new processes. And so now we can go here and we can actually look at our processes, and we can see that we have two new processes running, and they're both simple fake DCA bots, and one has bought Bitcoin and one has bought Ethereum. Again, this is just a like a fake DCA bot for instructional purposes. So it just runs for like 5 goes or 5 ticks or whatever, and then closes the deal. So now if we run this again, we'll see that these processes are ended and have been exited. So that's the whole process or program right there. So run bot network actually goes and does technical analysis, determines if it should deploy a bot. It spins up a new process if it needs to, and the bot runs on its own as a child process. It doesn't have anything to do with the originator. And once it's executed everything it needs to, it exits on its own. All right, now let's actually build the scripts. All right, let's actually start writing some code. So here I've created a completely new folder, and we'll start from scratch. I use VS Code, which I love, and you can just do code period when you're in the folder, and it'll open up the file system for that folder, which doesn't mean too much now, but it's really cool once you start building out your project. And I really suggest using VS Code. All right, so first things first, let's just get some data on the screen. So we need to make a connection to Binance. That's the most important part. And then we'll just start getting ticker information, and then we'll figure out how we're going to deal with it. So first things first, from Binance.client import client. And we might not be able to do that immediately because we might not have the packages that we need. So we'll see when we get there. I'm going to call this demo run bot network.py. Obviously, you don't need the demo part. I'm using the same file names as I use for my normal bot network, so I want to use demo to distinguish them so I don't ever get anything confused in the future. Okay, so now we want to create our client connection. And again, I'm not sure if it's actually going to work until we install some packages. Jesus. Okay. Client. And we'll reference a config file that we're going to make shortly. Config.api secret. And you need this part specifically for Binance US. If you're using Binance, you won't need this part here. And let's go ahead and make our first call and get a print out on the screen. Okay. So we'll get all coin pair tickers, and it's as simple as connecting to the client and saying get all tickers. That's it. So let's print that out. And we don't even have our virtual environment set up yet. So actually, I want to see what are we going to get here. I'm actually not sure. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So yeah, the config file. Okay. So I'm just going to copy my config file over. I'm not showing that obviously because that's my API key and API secret in it. But what you'll do is you will go to Binance.com or Binance US, and they will give you. You'll fill out this little form to create a new API key. You can find that you go under your name, then API management. You'll land on this screen. You give it a little name, and it will send you a little email confirmation. You'll go through that and you'll get this API key and secret. It only shows you the secret the very first time you look at it to make sure that the key stays confidential. But also, like your key for your connection isn't important. You can just destroy it and create a new one at any time. This one right here, even though you can only see the key, like I'm not even using this one, so it doesn't matter. But anyway, so you go to Binance.us to get that if you're in the US, or Binance.com if you're outside of the US. And I like Binance because of the super low trading fees. They're getting some heat recently, but I'm still sticking with them for now. We'll see how that goes. I'm a little scared, honestly. But anyway, such is crypto. Okay, so let's see, we got our config file. Let's just see what happens now. Oh yeah, we got to import it. Import config. Oh, it's already working. I'm not sure. Oh, I think I've downloaded those packages to my machine and not into a virtual environment originally. But let's go through that. Okay, so we're going to need additional packages. And no matter what, you're going to have to create this. So you got to get comfortable with using virtual environments, which is basically just like an environment, a virtual, and a container to house all of the files and like requirements specific to the project that you're building. So to do that, you do Python 3-m to you specify that you're creating a virtual environment, and I'm just going to put it in a folder called VM as well. So VM for virtual environment, and then VM again for the folder name. So it'll create that here for you. And then to activate it, you say source. What's the source? And then we give it the path to the activation source file. Okay, and then you'll know it's working because you'll see VM in the top left there before your file and folder structure name. So we're in the virtual environment now, and any like pip installs or anything we do will be specific to this environment and won't affect the rest of your computer. But I do know that we're going to need Python Binance. So this is using the Binance API, but with a Python wrapper. So pip install Python Binance. And again, I'm putting that in my virtual environment. I don't know if I need that because I think I might have put it on my local machine. But you will need this as well as a few other requirements. Let's go ahead and clear that. All right, so let's see. We were already getting the data, weren't we? Okay. There we go. Okay, and we can use, I use this sometimes, called pprint. I guess it's like pretty print. And it just makes it easier to see what's going on. Yeah. Yeah, so it just, instead of getting that one big blob, you get things a bit more organized. So we're making a connection to Binance US right now, and we're asking for all tickers, and we're getting a list of data that is price data and symbol data. So super simple, and it's all of them, all of the pairs. I decided to cut it here because the video is already getting pretty long. I filmed about an hour and I broke it into two about 30-minute sections just to make things a bit more manageable. I'll upload part 2 a little bit later this week. Again, just please let me know if this is content that's actually helpful and if I'm headed in the right direction and if you have any questions. All right, thanks for watching.